Hi everyone, welcome back to our online academy. So today I want to talk a little bit about hair paint. We're going to talk through the shade chart, talk about each individual shade family and how to get the most out of them. I'm also going to give you a couple of tips and tricks and my favourite formulas as well. So we're going to start by talking about our natural series. So our natural series, which is on page 1 of the book, is anything with your stroke 0 after it. So your natural series can be fully intermixed with the rest of hair paint and used on its own will give you up to 100% grey coverage. Moving on from that, we have our deep naturals. So your deep naturals are started with your double number followed by a 00. What these are a much denser coverage. So if it's more resistant grey or coarser hair, intermixing these with another shade within the family will give you 100% grey coverage. So moving on from our naturals, we have our ash series, which is our stroke 1, and our intense ash, which is our stroke 1-1. So the ash series is a soft blue, which is great for neutralising that little bit of orange on natural hair. Up on your level 9 and 10, perfect to use as a toner to neutralise any unwanted warmth within blonde hair. We also have our intense ash series, which is our double ones. So these are perfect to make that really cool silver blonde. Just remember, as a little tip, to pre-tone before you use these as a toner, because they've got that much blue in them, because they are a double one. If you were to add these over pre-lightened hair, you've exposed that much yellow. Adding this much blue, there's a risk of it going khaki. So we do recommend to pre-tone with something in your violet series first to knock out that yellow in the background, and then add your formula over the top in your intense ash to give you that really true silver. So moving on from your ash series, we have our pearl ash. So pearl ash is your stroke 1-8, so it's a combination of blue and violet. What that means is it's perfect for neutralising orange and yellow. On your lower levels, such as your 4-1-8 and 6-1-8, these are perfect for your root taps or root stretches to eliminate any warmth within the natural hair and give you that really flat, natural looking, cool hair. Up on your level 9 and 10, again, these are perfect to use as a toner. Because they've already got that little bit of violet in there, you don't need to pre-tone or anything to use them, because that violet in it will knock out the yellow in the background for you. Moving on from our pearl ash, we have our violets. So we have two really intense violets, which is your 588 and 688. These are perfect if you want that really vibrant, rich violet. They can also be added to any of your other lighter series in your violet, or even your 10/0 to bring them up and make them a little bit lighter and brighter. Up on your lighter levels, from your 8 to your 10, these are great to use as a toner because they are primarily violet. They are great for neutralising yellow. So any of your blondes, this is your go-to series to neutralise any unwanted warmth. Your golds. So your gold series is your stroke 3. You'll notice within the shade chart, the first 3, so your 4-3, 5-3 and 6-3, just have a primary tone of gold. But anything higher than that, from a 7 to a 9, we have a natural gold. The reason for that is to replicate what gold naturally does in the hair. So as we get lighter, we lose the amount of warmth in it. And up on a level 9, the reason that we have a natural gold is to make it look as natural as possible and not too artificial. These are great to use to fill if you've got 100% white hair and you need to add that background pigment back in. They're also great on your 9 and your 8 to add into your toners, just to give it that little bit of warmth and keep some brightness to it. So moving on from your gold series, we're moving on to our sand. So sand is one of our best sellers, our most used, and one of my personal favourites. The reason why is because we have two complementary tones, so we have violet and gold in there, which will give you a slightly warmer neutral. These are great to use over 100% white hair because you've got them two counteracting tones in there. It gives you a really soft, translucent finish. On your lower levels, so a 7 and an 8, these are perfect to use as a low light because you've got that gold in there. It acts as a filler and stops your low light looking too hollow. 938 is perfect to use as a toner over blonde hair to give you that really creamy, soft blonde. So our copper series is your stroke 4. So within the coppers, we have your natural coppers, intense coppers, and then we also have a special category which is called your copper specials. So the reason we have copper specials is we all know how hard it is to get a copper to last. Whenever you add gold to anything, gold is the smallest colour molecule. So what that does is go in between all the gaps and lock through the pigments in place and stop them fading as fast. So what we've done with the copper is done that for you, and added the copper specials in. These will help any of your coppers last longer and also improve the shine. Moving on to our reds. So we have our cool reds, warm reds, and then intense reds. So our reds are really true to tone and they are really vibrant. One of my top tips, what you can do is add a little bit of violet ink into them. What that'll do is knock out the yellow in the background and it'll help your red fade more to a pink rather than an orange. Moving on from reds, we have our mahogany series. So our mahogany series, which is a really cool but rich brown. One of my favourite shades in whole of hair paint is 9.5, which is your mahogany up on a level 9. This is perfect to create like a really soft rose gold. It's also great to give you that really soft champagne blonde. One of my favourite formulas for a blonde is 9.5 with 10.89 to give you it's almost like a nude blonde. So within our brown series we also have our brown specials. So within our brown specials we have 475 and 575. These are perfect to make them really rich chocolatey browns. We also have our 737 and 837. So these are perfect to use as a low light because they have quite a lot of gold in them. So they're perfect to use to fill, or like I said earlier, on much more porous hair that where you're worried about the tone, your low light fading out fast. These will hold a lot longer because you've got that gold in the background to fill it. Two of my favourite toners, 871 and 971. These are perfect to make a really soft mink blonde. So moving on, we have our beige browns. So our beige browns are our stroke 7/8. So our stroke 7/8 are really cool. They're perfect to use on natural hair when you want to go a couple of shades lighter. It will help neutralise. They're also great if you do any freehand work, and sometimes when you do freehand work and you get that transition from dark to light, you end up with a little bit of a warmer band. Running these through the basin for 5-10 minutes will help eliminate that warmth and give you a much softer blend. So we also have our creative series. So some of my favourites in the creative series is 835. 835 on its own will give you a really rich, intense rose gold. But as I mentioned earlier, if you want to soften it a little bit or create that really iridescent rose gold, mix it with 9.5 and it is absolutely beautiful. So our high lift series in hair paint. Our high lift series is our 11 and 12s. They're designed to be used on a level 7 and above to give you the cleanest blonde. Within our high lifts we have a hero product, which is our 12-0. So 12-0 has the ability to lift through colour slightly. So if you've got a little bit of banding, or if you just want to get half to one level of lift, you can use this over previously coloured hair and it will break through it for you. It's great if you've got a client who comes in where they want, you know, we see it often where they've got a level 4, 5 hair and they just want a little bit more dimension, or they want them toffee or caramel highlights. It's not always necessary to reach for your pre-lightener. Using 12 on its own with 30 or 40 vol will do that and break through that existing colour. But also what that means, if you were to do that with a bleach or a lightener, you would have to watch it and take it off in different sections to make sure that it processed evenly. With this being a high lift, it will stop lifting after so long, so it means that you can potentially foil or freehand the whole head and it will lift the same. So I hope you've got a couple of tips and tricks from me all about our hair paint. In our next video we're going to dive into mixed tones and ink and how to get the most out of them, the different ways to use them and how they will really benefit you in the salon and make your services so much quicker.